problem number 14, our whole amount was 9, our part was 5. That means 5 of my pieces needed to be shaded, 4 should remain unshaded. So my picture, I've done 5, 4 unshaded. Now again, if you shaded in a different 5, like maybe this top and left portion, and you left this bottom right portion, those 4 unshaded, that's fine. As long as you had 5 that were shaded, 4 that were unshaded, you would be correct for number 14. And then let's look at 15. Our fraction was 9/10, our part was 9, our whole was 10, so it took 10 pieces to make the whole. And then the part being 9, that means I shaded in 9 different sections here to get my fraction of 9/10. So 9 should have been shaded, 1 should remain unshaded. To finish off our lesson on the definition of a fraction, we're going to look at some word problems. We're going to take these word problems and just write each situation into a fraction. So looking at the back of your worksheet, problem number 1 for writing fractions. Remember, we want to do part over the whole. So everything we're going to be writing, we're going to put the part in the numerator, the whole in the denominator. So let's look at number 1. It says 5 months is what fraction of a year? 5 months is what fraction of a year? So my total, my whole, is going to be a year. So the first thing we need to think of is, well, how many months does it take to make a full year? All right, so to make a full year, we would need 12 months. So 12 would be my whole amount. There are 12 months in a year, so all 12 to make 1 year. Now the part. So reading through our question again, it says 5 months is what fraction of a year? 5 would be my part that we're talking about, so 5 is the numerator. So our fraction for number 1 would be 5/12. Let's look at problem number 2. It says 1 foot is what fraction of a yard? All right, so we have our fraction here. We're talking about a yard. So we need to know how many feet are in a yard. Well, there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So 3 feet equals the same thing as 1 yard. So that means my whole amount would be 3 because it takes 3 feet to make 1 yard. Now let's read our question again. It says 1 foot is what fraction of a yard? Well, 1 foot is all we're talking about, so that's our part. So 1 would go in the numerator. So our fraction would be 1/3. 1 foot is 1/3 of a yard. Okay? Let's go ahead and skip down to problem number 7. That's more like a story, so let's take a look at that together. And then I'll have you do a couple problems on your own. We'll do 7 and 8 together. It says John wants to buy a shirt for $23. He has $18 right now. What fraction of the cost has he saved? So for problem number 7, we want the whole amount at the bottom, okay? So the whole would be the total cost. All right, so looking at our problem, it says John wants to buy a shirt for $23. That's the whole amount. He is going to have $23 to buy that shirt. So 23 goes in the denominator of the fraction. If we keep reading, it says he has $18 right now. That means that's how much he has going towards the shirt that he wants to buy. That's our part. So 18 goes at the top because it's asking for what fraction of the cost has he saved. Let's look at problem number 8. For problem number 8, it says Darlene wants to lose 15 pounds before spring break. She has already lost 11 pounds. What fraction of the weight does she still need to lose? All right, so the first thing we need to figure out is the whole amount. So how much does Darlene want to lose total? Okay, you can think of, when it says part over whole, you can also think of that as the part over the total. So how many total pounds does Darlene want to lose? If we look, she wants to lose 15 pounds. So 15 would be our denominator. Now if we keep reading, it says she has already lost 11 pounds. Now I'm going to write side because let's read that question a little bit closer. Okay, 11 pounds is what she has already gotten rid of. She's lost that amount. But the question asks, what fraction of weight does she still need to lose? She's already lost the 11 pounds. She doesn't need to lose 11 pounds. Okay, she's already lost that. So what we need to actually do in this case is take the total amount and subtract the 11. That means there are only 4 more pounds to go. She only needs to lose 4 more pounds. So my fraction is actually 4/15. All right, so make sure you read the questions closely. Sometimes they'll just want the fraction of what they're talking about. Other times they'll give you a number and see, did you read closely? Because we actually had to subtract it to get the 4 pounds that she still needs to lose, right? She lost the 11, she still needs to lose the 4, so our fraction would be 4/15. At this time, go ahead and pause the video, try problem numbers 3 and 9, okay? Problem number 3 and problem number 9, and then come back and we'll take a look at those together. Let's take a look at problem number 3. My fraction is 87 out of 100, so let's talk about why. For problem 3, they said 87 cents is what fraction of a dollar? So first we need to figure out our whole amount. So we needed to know how many cents does it take to make a dollar. Well, remember 1 penny is 1 cent. So it takes 100 pennies to make $1, so it's 100 cents makes a dollar. So 100 is our denominator. After that, we needed to know the part. Well, our question tells us 87 cents is our part, so 87 is our numerator. So 87 out of 100 should have been your answer for problem 3. Looking at problem number 9, all right, it talked about Bob. Bob's rent is $650 a month, and he has $500. What fraction of the rent does Bob still need to get? Okay, so read those questions closely. 650 is the total rent. That's how much he has to pay, so that's why that's in the denominator. 150. Now, 150 wasn't even a number in our problem, so we needed to read it closely and realize he has $500. That's not how much more he needs to pay his rent. That's how much he already has. So we took the total, we subtracted what he had, the $500, and that gave me the 150. That's where my fraction came in. 150 over 650, okay? So I had to subtract these two because I wanted to know how much more money does he need, okay? How much does he still need to get? The 150 out of the 650. All right, and that's the end of our lesson on the definition of a fraction.